Live from Post Road in Darien, Connecticut, it's the 2018 Darien Memorial Day Parade on the DAFMedia Network. Hi, everybody. I'm Damian Andrew. Thanks so much for joining us for this special DAFMedia broadcast. The first time ever the Darien Memorial Day Parade is being live streamed. This is an event that goes back to the 70s. And the Darien Police Department being represented today. An absolutely, well, an okay day. The weather has cooperated this year. We just had a flyover, C-130 flyover here. And the Grand Marshal of the Memorial Day Parade this year is longtime Darien resident Robert S. Mitchell, a World War II veteran born in New York, has lived in Darien since the 1970s, awarded the World War II Victory Medal as we take a look at Robert S. Mitchell. And joining me on the live stream right now is the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Committee here in Darien, John Cini, a guy I've gotten to know fairly well over the last year. And John, the weather has cooperated. I know the weather hasn't been ideal the last 2 years for the Memorial Day Parade, but not a bad day. A little cool, little breeze, but otherwise no rain in the forecast.
From what I understand, it's going to get nicer as the day goes on and as this parade goes on.
And the Darien High School Marching Band, as you can see in front of the reviewing stand. This is a parade that starts at the Good Wives Shopping Center, makes the turn onto Post Road, and ends here in front of the library. We are in front of Nielsen's Florist. But, John, you've been in this community for a long time. There's something about Memorial Day that's special.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we've been here for 18 years. Just posted a picture 8 years ago of my little guys waiting for the parade on Facebook. And it's one of those special things that this has a ritual in this community.
The parade route is actually from the Goodwise Shopping Center, comes down Post Road, and then it ends at the Spring Grove Veterans Cemetery. There will be a service following the parade.
From what I understand, that service is something special, so people should try to make their way down at the end of the parade.
Again, we're taking a look at the Darien High School Marching Band. And they do a terrific job. You see them at all the big sporting events at Darien High School and other events. Damian Andrew, joined by John Cini, the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Committee here in Darien. And this day, as we take a look at VW Post 6933, is all about the veterans, John. I mean, this is why we have this federal holiday. It's a special day for all of those who had served in the armed forces.
And those who
have lost their lives serving this country.
Sacrifice.
Yep, absolutely.
I make it a tradition to check out the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier live feed on a day like today.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And approaching the reviewing stand is the Post 53. For over 40 years, Post 53 has provided the town of Darien with emergency medical services while providing local high school students with an exceptional opportunity to serve their community. The dedicated volunteers of Post 53 man 3 fully equipped, state-of-the-art ambulances, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Post 53, what an organization that is here in Darien. I mean, it's unbelievable that the kids in this community, high school students predominantly, are involved in helping save people's lives.
So many of them also, as you see them walk by. Ultimate responsibility taken by those 18 years and younger. Just amazing.
And they'll be having a food fair after the parade.
Tilly Pond Park.
Tilly Pond Park. There you go.
Not to be missed.
Post 53. They do a great job in the Darien community. The Darien Historical Society is about to roll past the reviewing stand here on Post Road in front of Nielsen's Florist and the Darien Public Library. You talk about a great facility here in Darien. The public library is tremendous.
I'm sure we'll get to this, but one of the prides of the private-public partnerships in town. Back to Post 53, Damien. The other thing is there's so many adults that make that work as well.
Oh, no, absolutely. And the Darien Historical Society being represented in the Memorial Day Parade. The Historical Society, founded in 1953, is the prime resource in town dedicated to collecting, preserving, and exhibiting materials of local historical value, and focuses on educating the community about Darien's heritage.
We actually use it as a resource on Planning and Zoning Commission once in a while as well.
You do?
Yes, we do.
John,
and the town historian as well. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Darien originally settled in 1649 as part of Stamford. It actually became Middlesex Parish in 1737, and then in 1820 became the town of Darien. The Darien Chamber of Commerce, talk about a resource here in the community. The Chamber of Commerce does some terrific work. And how about some of these vintage cars, John, strolling down, huh?
Wish I had one in my garage.
Want to give a shout out to all our senior citizens watching this live stream of the Darien Memorial Day Parade, especially Craig Ferguson. Mr. Ferguson, hope you're doing well. The Community Fund of Darien. The Community Fund of Darien, an independent, volunteer-driven nonprofit in town that addresses health and human services needs in Darien and surrounding towns, including Stamford and Norwalk. So they do a lot of great work in not only Darien, but the entire area of southwestern Connecticut.
One of the dozens and dozens of volunteer organizations in this community.
The Darien Men's Association, dedicated to good fellowship, community service, and most importantly, fun. Love their hats, and they look like they're having fun marching in today's Memorial Day Parade. The Darien Men's Association was founded in 1977 as an affiliate of the Darien YMCA. Want to give a shout out to our entire DAFmedia production crew here this afternoon working on the parade. Our director, Brendan Ross.
Ray Slavin, a very active volunteer in the Darien community going by.
John giving Ray a wave. Christina Chalice, Thomas Kiernan, Aiden Maniscalco, all part of the DAFmedia production crew. Want to thank them for their work in getting this live stream up. Masonic Lodge, Darien, Ivanhoe, number 107. an active lodge in Darien since 1929 with an original charter which dates back to the late 1800s.
You know, Damien, I'm glad I came down. I'm learning so much more about the town that I've lived in for almost 2 decades.
I'm trying, John. I'm trying. In full disclosure, I do not live in Darien, but I've spent a lot of time in town through the years over the last decade plus. Pivot Ministries, founded in 1970. Pivot Ministries is a residential treatment program located in Bridgeport, Norwalk. The Pivot process is faith-based, a non-profit agency with 4 decades of successful experience assisting men challenged by alcohol and substance abuse. Pivot's mission is to treat drug and alcohol addiction as a spiritual problem and return the men to their families usefully whole. So Pivot Ministries does a terrific job in Bridgeport providing services for those in need. And I believe we are watching the Darien YMCA gymnastics team.
Hence the cartwheels?
Yeah, hence the cartwheels. A celebrated team. They've won YMCA national championships. They've won that championship twice, and they've placed very high in a number of USA Gymnastics competitions through the years. Darien first selectman Jayme Stevenson getting a little shot of us here, John, at our broadcast location, which, as I mentioned, is in front of Nielsen's Florist, which has been around for a long time in Darien. I saw some people this morning getting their gardening supplies. Going to do some gardening later this afternoon.
And a great place to get their plants.
Absolutely.
They are a very dedicated family to the community as well. And my son works there.
Little shout out to Luke Cini, who is also very involved in the DAFmedia organization, as we take a look at some of the people lining the street to see this Darien Memorial Day parade. I won't say it is picture perfect, but it's pretty close, and considering the last 2 years this has been had a lot of rain. No rain today. The Darien Sail and Power Squadron rolling by here on the parade route.
They do a wonderful annual class, which after my term is over, I plan to take. Really detailed boating safety and nautical skills.
Yeah, the Darien Sail and Power Squadron, chartered in 1953, committed to achieving and promoting high standards of navigation, seamanship, and safety by our personal conduct and performance on the water. We are right next to the reviewing stand here on along the parade route.
Right next to the place that the Board of Selectmen hang out.
And you can see the spectators with their American flags in hand.
Damien, during this break, maybe you could just talk a little about DAFmedia.
Well, DAFmedia really started last spring, thanks to the Darien Athletic Foundation and most notably Bruce Ferguson, who has done a terrific job with all our technological needs, John. And it has grown now where we have about 30 kids in the Darien community involved in DAFmedia. We have live streamed over 110 events.
Wow.
High school sporting events, concerts, and this, our very first Memorial Day parade, which I hope becomes a staple for the DAFmedia network moving forward. And the Noroton Fire Department marching in the Darien Memorial Day parade. One of the members of the Darien High School Marching Band, who also happens to be involved in DAFmedia, is Emily Finland. She has arrived at our broadcast location, the Noroton Fire Department.
This is a highlight of the parade, seeing all 3 volunteer fire departments and post, and recognizing those first responders in town who, again, all volunteers. It's pretty awesome.
Noroton Fire Department, on the night, John, of April 24th, 1896, a small group of firefighters from the Eagle Hook and Ladder Company No. 1 of Darien, which was formed a year earlier, gathered at an old livery stable to discuss the formation of a fire department to better protect the citizens of the western part of Darien, known as Noroton. Led by James Bennett, George Dugdale, the Hinley brothers, and the Williamson brothers, the first meeting of the Volunteer Hook and Ladder Company of Noroton, later to become known as the Noroton Fire Department, was called to order.
The first engine is being driven by Mr. Joe Warren. You might also see around December as well.
I was just going to say he would make a mean Santa Claus around the holidays.
From time to time you might see him at the Darien Sports Shop in a red outfit. We'll just put it at that, not to spoil anybody's fun.
The Noroton Fire Department loves seeing the fire engines. I have 3 sons, as you and your wife have young kids as well, and
3 boys as well.
Yep, there is something about the fire engine, no matter where you go. And of course, Memorial Day celebrations are being held all over this great country of ours. Memorial Day 2018.
What some people might not know is we'll see a boat come by the Noroton Fire Department, but they also have a fireboat that's stationed at Ziegler's Cove. So they are tasked with the water rescues in town. The more recent tasks of the fire departments has also been to escort our state champion teams when they do win, and that is turned into a most awesome tradition as well. After you hear the end of the game and you see them work their way through the town.
As you know, I have covered sports in southwestern Connecticut for a number of years, over a decade, and the broad-based athletic program at Darien High School is top-notch. I mean, we talk so much about the football program and lacrosse programs, but you look what the girls and boys volleyball programs have done, and the baseball program. Baseball team just won an FCAC championship the other night at Cubetta Stadium in Stamford, their second FCAC title in 3 seasons. Head coach Mike Scott has done a terrific job with the Blue Wave baseball program.
Unbelievable job at turning that program into a state contending now, a program which is on the heels of lacrosse, football, girls lacrosse, amazing. Field hockey, of course.
And the Girl Scouts
are here. Oh, there you go. I'm sorry. And I saw some Indian guides, I thought, as well.
The Girl Scouts are out in full force on this Memorial Day, marching in the Memorial Day parade. Damian Andrew alongside John Cini. John, of course, the chairman of Planning and Zoning Committee here in Darien, and has done a terrific job in that position. Darien Girl Scout Troop 50152. Go-getter, innovator, risk-taker, leader. Love their flag as they march down Post Road in front of Nielsen's Florist and the Darien Public Library. We are just yards away from the official Memorial Day Parade reviewing stand. Getting back to the high school athletic programs at Darien, you mentioned Mike Scott, the head coach of the baseball team. Grew up in Darien, played at the high school, very much involved through the years at the youth level. And in his 10 years as head coach of the Blue Wave baseball program, has done a really nice job, as John alluded to. Cub Scouts, Pack 55, proudly showing off their banner. My best friend in the world was an Eagle Scout, so I know how important the Cub Scouts are to various communities.
I was a Boy Scout for a bit, and it is a tremendous challenge to get all your badges and make that level. And anybody here, and there have been a number in the community that, again, their Eagle Scout projects have been a betterment to this community.
And just some great visuals that you're watching here on this live stream, provided by the DAFMedia Network, which is a joint venture of the Darien Foundation and the Darien Athletic Foundation. We've been around now for just over a year. Our first time ever live streaming the Darien Memorial Day Parade. In fact, it's the first time this parade has ever been live streamed. And the parade, John's been around since the 1970s.
Pretty cool.
The Darien School of Dance represented in the Memorial Day Parade. And the Darien School of Dance, founded in 2010 at the YWCA of Darien and Norwalk by Brigitte Fulton. And Mrs. Fulton believes that the beauty, athleticism, and joy of classical ballet can be enjoyed by all ages. And again, some of the classic cars here in the parade as we see them driving by. I was told, John, when I showed up here at about 6:30 this morning and parked my car in the Nielsen's Florist and Garden Shop parking lot, that this parade, the streets really fill up, and that is in fact the case.
Oh, if you make your way back into downtown towards a food fair, it is 3 or 4 people deep.
And we are at the end of the parade route, at home in Darien, connecting seniors to community. I mentioned at home in Darien, helping Darien seniors live independently, comfortably, and with dignity in their own homes. And at home in Darien does some terrific work. I love the cars, John, huh? The cars are great, honking their horns.
Who knew we had so many in town?
There's the Darien Library. They are marching. And of course, Alan Gray is out there. He does a terrific job running the library here in Darien.
Like we said earlier, one of the premier public-private partnerships, talking to some of the DAF guys, it was one of the models for setting up and funding the Darien Athletic Foundation. They took the learnings from the library and applied it to the Darien Athletic Foundation.
And the library used to be over in what is now the Board of Education building.
35 Leroy Avenue.
Yep. Take a look at the Darien Fire Department. They look great in their uniforms. Cole Anderson, Darien High School student, played on the basketball team during the winter months, involved in the fire department. And here come the fire trucks rolling down Post Road. Damian Andrew, joined by John Cini this morning for the Darien Memorial Day Parade. And thanks so much for joining us on this special day across the US of A. And just some great shots here by our DAFmedia production crew.
That old engine was a 1928 Aaron's Fox engine. I've been told that there's only about 2 people in town that can actually drive it.
Wow. That's why we bring you on these live streams, John. That kind of knowledge.
I got to credit somebody else for that, posting that. Jim Cameron of TV 79, I believe, was the one who posted that. Another awesome volunteer in town, by the way.
He does a terrific job, and this live stream will be re-aired on TV 79.
Oh, great. So I'm glad I called him out.
Absolutely, Jim Cameron. Thomas. And how cute are those guys in there? Getting a pretty cool ride during the Darien Memorial Day Parade. And Post Road closed off starting at 9:30 this morning, and it will stay closed until about 12:30. And people are just lining the road to get a glimpse of the entrance in the Darien Memorial Day Parade. Again, another one of those classic cars strolling by right now.
I'd love to know which each and every car was to give some color. But
I am not a car guy, so I can't provide too much knowledge on them. But
make that 2 of us.
But I can tell you this is the Green Team, the Darien Environmental Group, founded in 1990 as a nonprofit volunteer organization, and the purpose of the organization has been to educate Darien residents about ways in which they can change their consumer and lifestyle habits to benefit our environment, and that is so important in today's day and age.
I keep harping on this, but yet another organization that helps on the public side of things and organizing the parks and creating some activities and, of course, education.
Well, I mean, you've lived in Darien for a long time, and it just goes to show you what a special community it is. So many giving people give of their time. Chants of USA here on the parade route. Like to hear that.
I believe this is Indian guides. Dads and their daughters and sons get together.
It is the Darien YMCA. Guides and princesses, adventure guides and princesses bring fathers and their children together in a variety of activities that foster friendships. Held in the course of the school year, fathers and children are organized into tribes for planning activities, and the father's involvement essential to the program. And one of the events that they are involved in is this Memorial Day Parade, and of course you just saw them on this live stream.
One of the highlights of the organization is the annual trip that you take with your fathers to a YMCA overnight camp.
Very cool.
I see Mr. Ferguson nodding with approval here. I'm sure he went to a few.
Yes, Bruce Ferguson, the head of the DAFmedia network, is here on the parade route. We pulled it together, John, this live stream.
Yep, and
even
the weather's coming together, too.
The weather's coming together, and as you know from talking to Luke, even when you have it all planned out, it's a live production. Sometimes things are being done right up until showtime or game time or whatever.
Yeah, yep. It worked. Worked well.
Really thrilled to be bringing you the annual Darien Memorial Day Parade along Post Road here. The Pender Cady Irish Arts Foundation, founded in 1999 with just 20 students and has since grown to almost 200 students. The mission is to share knowledge and experience in the art of Irish step dancing with students, encouraging them to work hard and have fun. After all, that's what it's all about. How about this? They're giving a little bit of demonstration here.
Or dance. Having no girls, I am not familiar with the Irish step dancing.
I have been to a Michael Flatley concert, so I do know a little bit about Irish step dancing.
Now you are sharing. That's great.
This year's Gold Star mom, Patricia Perry, her son, Navy SEAL Chief Brian Brill, was killed in action August 6, 2011 in Afghanistan. The helicopter he was riding in was shot down, and Patricia Perry will speak at that service that you were talking about at the outset of our live stream. There is a service at the Spring Grove Veterans Cemetery, and she will be part of that and will speak on this Memorial Day.
I'm going to make my way down after this broadcast.
John, you didn't grow up in Darien, right?
No, I grew up North Shore of Long Island.
You did? Okay.
In a hamlet called Setauket.
Yes, sure.
Where the series Turn has been based on. The Revolutionary War series, and so it's recently got some fame from AMC Networks. I grew up actually on Strong's Neck, and the whole series based on Anne Strong. So we have a strong heritage of America in that neck of the woods. Only about 23 miles as the crow flies across the Sound.
My wife and I and our boys were out in Cutchogue.
Okay.
Yesterday and the day before, spending some time with our extended family.
Awesome area out that way.
My wife grew up in Astoria, Queens, so she has a lot of family and friends who now reside on Long Island. But we are here at the Darien Memorial Day Parade in beautiful Darien, Connecticut. And Darien encompasses almost 15 square miles within its borders. Many miles of shoreline on Long Island Sound, of course. Originally settled in 1641 as part of Stamford, became Middlesex Parish in 1737, and in 1820, residents petitioned the state legislature to establish Darien as a separate town.
The youngest town in Connecticut.
Is that right?
Very true. We have the youngest age population in Connecticut, and so you can imagine puts a little stress on the infrastructure, and hence, again, back to the Darien Athletic Foundation, why we did what we did.
But there is a certain vibrancy to Darien, no question.
Oh, yes. And pride.
No doubt. No doubt.
Terry Wood taking our picture, Representative Terry Wood. Longtime representative in town. Done a glorious job for us here.
The Noroton Heights Fire Department marching in the Memorial Day Parade. And I mentioned the Darien baseball team, Connor Fay, who is part of the Noroton Heights Fire Department, marching in the parade. He is a member of that Darien High School baseball team that just won its second FCAC championship in 3 years.
And a friend of ours, Will Bothwell, I believe, just joined the department as well. There's a number of youth throughout all three departments that are very involved, and I believe at the age of 18 they can actually begin fighting fires.
Noroton Heights Fire Department. The Noroton Heights Fire Department actually celebrated its 100th anniversary in 2003. Been around for a long time. The department has grown from quarters in back of a blacksmith shop with 13 men and one hand-drawn engine to a 2-story brick building with 100 men and women and 6 pieces of emergency fire apparatus.
So they had a parade with, I believe, dozens and dozens of fire departments that came to celebrate that 100-year anniversary. And I brought my son Luke, my oldest, up, and we have a picture in the Darien Times of him sitting in a little fire engine.
How cool is that?
Watching the parade. It was a special moment.
How cool is that? That's very cool. And as you and I have said, having all boys, there's something about the fire trucks that they just love.
Oh, it's great. They open them up for birthday parties and a number of other events. And Noroton Heights every year sells Christmas trees as its main fundraiser. So,
and that actually brings us to the end of the Memorial Day parade.
We're going to see our Board of Selectmen kind of walk by the tent, and they're going to make their way to the event shortly thereafter.
We're going to try to get First Selectman Jayme Stevenson on our DAFmedia live stream of the Memorial Day parade. Damian Andrew with John Cini. John did a terrific job bringing some color to this Memorial Day parade. I want to give a shout out to our entire DAFmedia production crew. Aiden Maniscalco joining us for this event. Brendan Ross, our director. Christina Chalice and Thomas Kiernan. Christina and Thomas on cameras 1 and 2 did a terrific job bringing you the sights and sounds of the 2018 Darien Memorial Day Parade. And the parade route a little empty now as things have just finished up. And we just want to grab Jayme Stevenson if we can before we sign off here.
Okay.
And we are back live on the DAFmedia network. Yeah, we're going to be on the air here. I'm joined by Terry Wood, State Rep Terry Wood, Darien and Norwalk, and I know the weather has not cooperated the last 2 years for this parade, but certainly a little chilly, a little windy, but we'll take it, right?
Absolutely.
A beautiful procession down Post Road. Why is this day, this event in particular, so special?
I think it's a tradition for every family here in town. I mean, you see everyone has their special spot, and to honor our veterans who have served our country and protected our freedoms is so critically important in our country and our state, and we all appreciate and are grateful for that.
Absolutely, well said, and it's great seeing the American flags just lining Post Road. Of course, the route starts at the Good Wives Shopping Center, makes the turn onto Post Road, and it ends here in front of the Darien Public Library. Of course, there will be a service at the cemetery coming up, and I know you'll be involved in that. But
during the parade, there was one particular moment, thank you, that was very poignant, where you had a group of kids where they were all shouting USA, USA.
I heard
and
that.
Boy, I just felt a lump come up in my throat.
Absolutely. There's a certain sense of pride that comes over one, and when you think about the Gold Star mom, Patricia Perry, who will be speaking at the service, I mean, her son, Brian Brill, made the ultimate sacrifice for this great country of ours, and I know her speech, a lot of people are waiting to hear her remarks, but it's great having you. I'm going to grab Jayme Stevenson here really quickly before we sign off. But Terry Wood, so great having you here with us on this DAFmedia live stream of the Darien Memorial Day Parade. Thank you. And here is Jayme Stevenson. Usually I get a chance to talk to Jayme Stevenson at athletic events. This is a big community-wide event here, the Darien Memorial Day Parade. How about the weather? I mean, I won't say picture perfect, but boy, considering the last 2 years have been a little rainy, a little dreary, we'll take this.
Absolutely. Picture perfect as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Why is this day so special?
Well, Darien has a very long history of honoring our veterans, and I would mark this day as probably one of the most special, most important, and it really reminds us of what small town Connecticut is all about. Everybody, family and friends coming out and honoring those who paid the ultimate sacrifice, celebrating and honoring those who are serving right now so that we can be free and come to parades like this every Memorial Day.
Absolutely, well said. And of course the Grand Marshal, a longtime Darien resident, Robert Mitchell, World War II veteran, and well decorated for his service, and he's made his home here in Darien since, I believe, the 1970s. And it's great to have him as the Grand Marshal of the parade. I know you're going to be heading over to the service at the cemetery, but just a great community event. Although you said small town, boy, I tell you, there were a number of people along this parade. It seemed like a big town feel.
Well, I think most people really make the effort to come on out today, which is terrific. So really very special day for all of us, and so very proud of all of our volunteers, our wonderful volunteer firefighters, Post 53,
Darien,
don't
they do a great
Darien
job.
Police, who's still here, making the town safe for us today, our Public Works Department, who takes care of things behind the scenes, so we're so very lucky.
Yeah, and you do a tremendous job as Darien
Thank
First
you.
Selectman, and it's been great over this last year getting to know you a little bit, and I'm sure we'll have you on future DAFmedia broadcasts.
I hope so. Thank you, Damien.
Enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Jayme Stevenson, the Darien First Selectman, has done a tremendous job in office, and she will make her way over to the ceremony at the cemetery. And I guess we are live on the air. We are. How about that? Thomas Kiernan on camera one there. Christina Chalice, Brendan Ross, our director, and Aiden Maniscalco. Really, Aiden, our runner today, letting us know who was next in line along the parade route. But they are going to open up Post Road here in a few minutes. As you can see, Darien police cruisers halting traffic. And Bruce Ferguson, our head of DAFmedia, has been doing a terrific job getting things situated, directing this live stream with our very own Brendan Ross. And so for our entire DAFmedia production crew, I am Damian Andrew. You've been watching the 2018 Darien Memorial Day Parade, and being live streamed on the DAFmedia Network, a joint venture of the Darien Athletic Foundation and the Darien Foundation. Enjoy your Memorial Day, everybody. Have a great rest of your long weekend. Bye now.